Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on October 7th, 2024 at approximately 4:30 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people. Well, there we go. I've returned to this world for one primary purpose. That is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I built myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I guide virtually every movement by. With this in mind, with this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have literally worked for thousands of other people with varying degrees of success, depending on their own personal efforts. Now, today we are looking at something very simple. Okay, and it really boils down to, we've got it listed as aliens. Where do we go from here? The reality is we're going to expand that right off the bat to society, inclusive of aliens, ancient races, your run-of-the-mill family plants and animals. All of it is interconnected. Now, before I get into anything, I'm going to drop a bombshell in everybody's lap. I was debating whether I should. But as I've told most of you, okay, if you're listening to the stream at all, I have been a professional psychic, as in generating an income, since 1986. I've actually been doing it since 1973. But I got shown a real neat image. Okay, now, first, before I get into any of it, we have Storm in the background handling the primary moderator thing. Don't make the mistake of calling him a bully. Okay, quite frankly, he stepped up to the plate to make absolutely certain I don't turn around and have another major coronary. I don't deal with stress very well. We'll get to that in a minute. We have L.A. Moon in the room. She is another primary moderator. In her case, she keeps track of time for me and makes certain I don't end up getting all twisted out of shape because of lack of food. To that end, understand I had supper right before I came here. I'll have another one afterwards. Now we have in the house with the gold is Joe Stewart. Joe, how you doing? Your cemetery's got to be getting active out back. And Willard, how we doing? You are actually in with the silver today. Glad you could join us. And Willard's going, I've been having astral projection meetings with God and Satan and Odin and Zeus and Hades. I'm going to bring you up to speed on something there, Willard. This is a great thing. Okay, this is actually a great thing that you're making contact. I'm wondering if you realize, depending on which way you look at it, you may be talking to a lot of the same people. And the reason I say that is because it really doesn't matter what name you put on people. Many of them, and we can take into consideration the Roman, the Greek, and the Roman, the Greek, and the Norse gods, all were the same people. They were all Gedefni. Okay, they were just for names by different cultures. At least from anything I've run into. As for God and Satan, well, let's face it, God is an interesting individual. But I am glad you're opening up nonetheless. Now, a couple of things I'm going to drop in your guys' lap. This one I really debated whether or not I was going to. Let's just roll that up so I can see. I was debating whether I was going to bother telling people, and I figure, what the heck? I got handed a really cute picture today. Okay. That being, because of things that have happened, it looks like, and do understand, I am by no means suicidal. Okay. But the stress level I've been under because of finances and stupidity on this planet, I got told I've got about 6 months to get things straightened out. If I survive the 6 months, this is great. I should get another 30 years and be very well off by the time I pass. Nice part about not worrying about death. I got shown this and went, bonus. You mean I don't have to watch this thing fall apart? Whether I die or not, good question. I'll figure that out 6 months down the road. What I do know is my blood pressure is about as stable as it can get. Okay, and since I'm not getting any pain in my arms, my heart, or my legs, this tells me if the system collapses, bonus, I'll be dead before I hit the floor. Now, I know that sounds like, why would you be that relaxed? Well, I don't desire to be trapped in my body like my brother was. My brother was trapped in his body for literally a year. Couldn't talk, couldn't walk, too stubborn to die. So they put him they only had him on a feeding tube, and hydration. They didn't ever put him on the life support. What do we got here? Okay, Willard, I can take care of that one right off the bat. Neat part about it, like I do watch what's going on in the chat room, but you made the right call to ask LA Moon to pass it on, just in case I missed it. Now, just trying to read here. Now, I'm going to pronounce this wrong in all fairness. I'm not sure what a Kikusan Cherokee Indian is. Okay, but what I can tell you is there is absolutely zero choice, zero question. Have you got your own abilities along with it? Absolutely. The level of them, another question altogether. Okay, and whether or not you've learned to interpret what you're picking up, that's where it gets really complicated. Now understand, I am not by any means the strongest on the planet, at least according to me. Okay, what I do know is that there are things that I hear people telling me, I had a conversation with God and he was going to come down and pull up these number of people. Ain't gonna happen. So and if I'm wrong, great. I've been to hell before. Wonderful place. Hot tubs way too hot for my liking, but the deep tissue massages are to literally die for. Now, nice little part about it. From my end, it's real simple. Where are we going from here? That's the easy part. You've taken a look at the world, and I'm not ignoring what you're asking there, Willard. The reality is we are sitting in one heck of a bucket. We have and when I say we, understand, I'm part of the problem. Okay, anybody that managed to vote and put some genius into power that is now proving to be, shall we say, a little less focused than we would like. Okay. Any one of you that either voted for them or did not vote at all and said, I'll let somebody else sort it out, absolutely, you're part of the problem. You like it, you don't like it, don't matter. Okay. I'm quite willing to admit I voted for an individual that I look at now. I didn't have a choice. It was the only option I had. At least I was aware of. But here's the neat part. Where we're standing right now, and this is where you guys take control of the world. Okay. Now, big important factor here. Okay. Take a look at the people you're following in the way of spiritual guidance. If you are following somebody that is telling you God is going to come down here and straighten all this out, let's get something real clear. Okay. You were given free will and free choice. Everything in existence was given free will and freedom of choice. What nobody was given was freedom of consequence. Bear in mind, what you know as the one you know as God himself and as Satan herself, frankly, they have the same restrictions. They've got free will, free choice. It is not freedom from consequence. The mess we are sitting in right now, we can leave it to the so-called professionals, to the so-called spiritual guides, to the so-called intelligent people, the ones that are driving this world into a tailspin. And you can leave it to them. But here's the outcome. And you don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe in gravity. I know there's one lady in the States came up with a brilliant concept. Okay, that apparently we're suffering from a shortage of gravity. Okay, now I'm thinking this is entertaining at the least. Simon, how are you? Glad you could make it. Now I should look at this. What have we got here? We know Joe came in with the gold. We had Willard in with the silver. This means, Simon, you are actually in with the bronze today. You know, nice that you can manage to get in here. Today we are looking at literally where do we go from here. Now, your two choices, and they are mutually exclusive. Leave things alone. Okay, let the people sitting in power dictate how your life is going to unfold. Okay, you can absolutely step back and let it happen. Here's the problem. The majority of the mainstream spiritual leaders are standing there telling you you're going to go to hell because you're born of sin, you're dying, you're going to hell. Except in some people's eyes, there's a select few. To be specific from what I gather, what do we got? Oh, well, and I'll get to that in 10 seconds. Okay, they keep telling you, there's one group of religious people that go, 144,000 people will be picked up and saved from the rapture. Brilliant idea. This means you get a bit out of one city on the planet. Okay, now I am curious. If we go divided by 8. Whoop, that was wrong. 144,000 divided by 8,000 million billion. Yeah, can't do that. We are talking such a small percentage of people. Okay, understand this entire existence of the third dimension. All of it was designed by somebody. Absolutely. I'm very much a firm believer in God by any name. Okay, now you can sit there and pray, and we already discussed prayer. Remember this little stunt? No, I'm not throwing that away. Remember this little stunt? We take a pen. I desire it over there. So we're going to pray it goes there. We're going to throw it over our shoulder and hope. I don't think it got there. I'll find it later. Prayer is absolutely entertaining. But if you don't get off your tail feathers, you're going right down the same river everybody else is. Okay. Now, that's one option. Leave the people in power that claim to be there, but let us be straight about one little detail. The systems that were built work. They were designed very well. The operations of them is the biggest issue. Oh, where are we here? Yeah, I love, anyway, let's get back to that. That's the one option we've got. The other option is we can now get up and we can literally take control of your life. I'm going to walk you through it because I've started it on my own end anyway. This is not a question of do what I say. Okay. This is the question of this is what I'm doing in order to claim power over my life. Now, jumping back a bit, Willard, you asked a question. If past life affects this life, the answer is without a shadow of a doubt, yes. Okay, pointing fact. In 1828, I was a fisherman. I was a young fisherman on the northern coast of Ireland. The woman that I'd become involved in came from high society, and we had decided to make a go of it with the blessing of my dad. Her betrothed, it was an arranged marriage. He was an abusive, and we'll put it that way, he murdered her. I came back the following life. Okay, I spent 5 years in misery. Okay, because I held her in my arms as she died. Okay, I came back, born in 1898, mattered in a wet hen. And literally, by the time 1914 rolled around, I'd only been 16 and I had a list of charges against me to the point that if you were available and I deemed it necessary or a whim, I would kill whoever was available until the military got a hold of me. And I ended up literally getting pulled into the military to work on the construction of mustard gas. No, I do not remember my name from that. Heck, I have enough trouble remembering my names from this one. The end of my life. Okay, I ran into a Strazazian at the Roswell crash. I had this corroborated, okay, by people that were there, that their grandparents had been there. Okay, I ended up meeting this individual, was asked to get her to safety. I did so. Died in 1956 in Chicago General. And when I came back this lifetime, that same young lass rescued me from the Milapse. Okay. So, yeah, there is an absolute direct correlation. Now, I still remember my time in Rome. Okay. I remember my time in Rome as a Roman soldier. Okay. I was volatile. I'm a pacifist this lifetime. Something you might want to consider, Willard. I'm not gonna confirm that one. Willard's going. So in a nutshell, I'm unknown human brother of God and Satan and Odin and Zeus and Uncle Jesus Christ and Muhammad. And so I'm from royal bloodline of God Kings. I have run, I'm not going to tell you one way or the other that side of it, because I would really, could I confirm or deny it if I had solid input? Certainly. But it really depends on how you're living your life as to whether things are running reasonably well. I appreciate that, Joe. I'm actually documenting some of them into short stories. Okay, some of the past lives and what have you, people can do with them what they will. I will tell you that I think we've got things worked out to start putting PDFs together. But doing my best to stay on track, that's always a challenge for me. One of the biggest things we have to look at is all the prayers and all the wishful thinking isn't going to do much good if nobody gets off their tail feathers. Absolutely, LA. Okay, you come in when you're coming into a new path, into a new life. You literally choose what things you're coming in to gain wisdom around. Now, the easiest one to explain is those of you that came in to gain wisdom around cancer. You set everything in motion. That's the contract you're making. But it depends on the actions you have in the current lifetime as to whether you will gain wisdom around cancer by developing it yourself or by working with people that are suffering from it. Okay, in my case, I had to come to terms with the idea that listening to other people telling me I had no clue what I was doing, I had to get it through my head. They were wrong. Okay. Oh, the best I can tell you, Willard, because I haven't actually looked at it. Let me put it this way. Unless, and I know this one because I was there. Take that where you will. Okay. Unless Assassin's Creed Odyssey, okay, unless that talks about Atlantis leaving Earth and ending up in orbit for a time, the answer is no. Although it may be correct in some of it. I haven't played the game. Assassin's Creed, I do know, works on historical reference. Problem is, history is misleading in a lot of ways. What's been written has been very misleading. Now, this is correct, Ellie. Past lives don't necessarily have relevance to this one, but often if you've got a phobia or if you've got a particular drive towards something, those are usually influenced or are often influenced by past life memory. Okay, I came into this lifetime knowing I had to get my temper under control. I didn't get taught how to control it, which is where the problem is now, not this lifetime. Quite frankly, it was actually worked on to make it worse. Not a good setup. But we have an interesting choice. Nathan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And I do believe, Nathan, yeah, by the look of it, looks like you've got honorable mention today. I'm looking at this now going, okay, you guys have, quite frankly, and I'm just going to be blunt about it, 2,000 years ago, somebody walked into this world, grabbed 12 people, some people say 13, and said, look, we have to start getting the message. We have to start getting the message out. Be nice to each other. Okay. Now, that man came in with a whole lot of abilities and a simple message. Now, I'm telling you, I'm looking at the world today. I'm back again. I've done it multiple times, come into the world and said, hey, guys, you gotta get along. Okay. In Rome, I was told it was my job to watch and stand guard. I literally was told it's your duty to make sure nobody interrupts our entire crew while we have our way with this 13-year-old. Well, I did an absolutely brilliant thing. I followed my orders. I was told make sure they don't get disturbed by anybody else. I'm the one that destroyed them. Literally, I blew a gasket and took out my 6 closest friends. Like I said, I'm a pacifist this lifetime. Okay, but I did find an interesting setup. Okay, Birth of the Wolf Pack, the guy I built, okay, Jeremiah Wolfstrom, was built for gaming. Okay, has a lot of my outlook on life in him. This lifetime, right now, where are we going to go? Now, people are going, oh, when is the government going to come forward and tell us that we have alien interaction? When are they going to give us full disclosure? Guys, think about it. When was the last time any government was honest about what's going on? And realistically, if all of a sudden, especially with the spiritual guidelines that you're working with, realistically, if you've grown up believing that humans are the top of the totem pole and they're unique in God's eyes, number one, you've got some hiccups. Okay, at least in my opinion and experience for that matter. Much more importantly, if you really are of the mindset that man is the only functioning sentient race, okay, you could be in for a hiccup. But what do you think would happen? You know the way people are to each other. Okay, you take somebody that's really tall, really powerfully built, put a Caucasian in the heart of a black community. That Caucasian is going to be ostracized. People may fear him. Same thing if you do the other way around. Yeah, I have had, LA's going, I prefer a peaceful existence, but life isn't always what we want. So I can deal with it if it's too stupid. I've literally come to the conclusion and I've pulled the plug. I leave my house when I absolutely have to. Even the restaurant I was going to, it's going to be a while before I bother going back because they've done a stupid thing. I went there the other day, just on Sunday. The hours I was told, they're not open. I won't waste my time anymore. But if we leave things on the path they're on, okay, with regards to let's increase the demand on the hydroelectric system that's already falling short. And let's push the idea of having only electric cars, which means massive draw on the hydroelectric plant. You're already getting brownouts. Not to worry, they won't be called brownouts, they'll be called blackouts or complete shutdowns. The infrastructure is not in place. Now we can keep pushing for it. You can let it carry on down that road. Okay. And let me point something out. Let's assume that the water reserves are compromised. How many nuclear plants are going to go critical when the water levels drop a little too low? So here's what we got. On its current path, and I am by no means saying this is the only option. I'm telling you, 12 people 2,000 years ago set things in motion to actually have a better life here. Somewhere along the line, somebody messed it up. I don't know who, don't really care who, because how it got to where it is at present the problem. We have to curb the bleeding. We got to stop the bleeding and turn it around. Now, to this end, okay. Now, I do understand. I've got a free newsletter called Positive Perspectives, okay, and I refuse to point out all the negatives going on. This is referred to, thanks to LA Moon. This is positive perceptions, okay, but I am absolutely positive on its current path. If we leave it sit the way it is, you will get bombed back to the Stone Age. And all it's going to happen is a massive nuclear explosion to wipe out the electronics. Okay. And you do that, and all of that knowledge, I don't think there's many people alive today that know how to smelt metal from ore anymore. It's that they've got the information and the practical experience in their hands, okay, to do that. We shut down all the computers, okay, and the number of geniuses out there that are going, oh, I'm going to hack into the computer, I'm going to cause a problem. These people are dumber than fence posts, okay, and here's why. They're using computers to hack into a system they're trying to cripple. Okay, it's like going to the bottom of a volcano and trying to tap into the volcano, okay, in the hopes of relieving a problem. Somehow, I'm thinking you start blowing up things near a volcano, you're going to end up with a volcanic eruption. Okay, but we have to realize the spiritual leaders, okay, first and foremost, let's go there. The spiritual guides that you're following, the ones standing in front of the pulpit, at the pulpit, pounding on the desk and telling you, you have to do what God says because he's a wrathful God. He is a vicious God. He's a jealous God. Gods don't get jealous. Okay. And by the way, and yes, understand something very important. My opinion. Okay. And no, sorry guys, my opinion cannot be wrong. Okay. The reality of it is nobody's opinion can be wrong. You can have information that you're acting on where the information is misunderstood or just flat out off kilter. But your opinion of it can't be. Okay. What we've got is this. Our current path. Spiritual guides are going, hey, I've got billions of people listening to me. We have a unified religion with 45,000 different denominations. Did I miss something about the definition of unified? We have corporations that are going, buy this garbage. I do mean literally. Here's something that works 1 in 10 times. 90% of the time it doesn't do it. Please buy it. Okay. And I mean, like, we've got computers that come out, they burn out every year. Computer, solar powered calculator. I got it in the 70s. Never replaced a battery. Never had a problem with it miscalculating or having a power outage. Okay. It's solar powered. But it's from the 70s. How many of you have a computer other than something like this that has worked more than 10 years? If you're not really adept at working with computers to start with, we have a situation. Continue listening to the media, and bear in mind, the media that you're listening to, the mainstream media, the big television companies and what have you. Understand, if they are telling you, and I've watched these people, I'm looking at the weather outside, it's pouring rain. And they're going, oh, there is a 0% chance of rain today. I'm like, I don't know, it's wet out there. Okay, my own brother, took a look and because I got lost, so I phoned him up. He's on the internet, asked if I knew where I was. I said, yeah, I'm on the corner of these two streets. He goes, that's impossible. I'm looking at Google Maps. And according to Google Maps, okay, there is a mile difference between the roads. I says, look, I'm standing at a street sign where two roads meet, and they say that's the corner. My reality trumps your electronics. Understand, if you're going to follow that line of thinking, where are we? Joester, even if the dead can come back to life, which won't happen anytime soon, thank God, how far could zombies travel? Well, I don't know. How many people do you know of? Now, yes, this is a calculator, but it looks kind of similar to a cell phone. How many people do you know, have you seen walking down the street going, I'm going to play on my phone and do this, and walk straight out into traffic? Okay. Zombie apocalypse. Yeah, Nathan goes, Nathan's one of these weird people that does know computers. Because Nathan goes, I make things last. And rest assured, Nathan's good. He really is. Storm makes Nathan look like a kindergarten dropout half the time. No offense, Nathan. Because you make me look like a kindergarten dropout. By the way, I actually passed kindergarten. Like, how can you fail kindergarten? But what the heck? I like the way William Shakespeare put it. He goes, if the dead were to get up and walk, we would have one heck of a population problem. So, I mean, where we go from here is this. Where do you desire to go? Okay, I'm glad to hear that, Nathan. Where do you desire to go? Do you desire society to turn around? Do you desire to bring an end to the famine, to the starvation, to the power outages? I'm telling you, and this is going to sound absolutely stupid. And don't be surprised if I get slapped on the wrist for this one. Or taken off air. What is happening right now? Okay. The reality is this. If we follow what we're being told, okay, the stuff that you're being told, you gotta buy it, get it now. Because it's the best thing on the planet. Right? Take a look at the hype. Okay. I'm telling you, 90% of what you're getting told is, quite frankly, misleading. And no, I'm not going to give you company names or specific religions. Okay. Or specific governments, for that matter. Rumor had it, and still has it, I think, that Germany had contact with aliens back in World War II. In my opinion, in my memory, experience, call it what you will, absolutely they did. However, so did every other major country, major power at the time. Okay. This is not a localized phenomenon where some race comes in and goes, oh, look, they're saying they're the best race. We're going to back them up. That is not the way off-worlders or ancient races think. That, by the way, is also not what any god I've talked to. Now, understand, I had a conversation the other day, very much like you did, Willard, okay, with what you consider God. Now, here's the funny thing. I am a firm believer that God exists, that Yeshua did come to this world. Okay, I do consider myself a Christian because I do believe in God, the creator of all things. Okay, and I do believe in Yeshua. Okay, now, the fact of the matter is I probably believe in Yeshua more than most people. But I'm not going to put that to the test. You can figure that one out. But here's the kicker to it. When I had that conversation just a little while ago, it turns out, even according to him, okay, even according to what you would call God, they were not the top of the totem pole. Okay, everything was set in motion. Take a look at the comparison of the atom and the universe. The similarities are mind-boggling. Okay, I'm in the middle right now of writing a couple of necessary, of necessary articles that are going to be coming out in November's edition of Positive Perspectives. Okay, I am going to lay it out from what I see. Now, the reality of it is this. Okay, I'm looking at the outcome of where this world is heading. If we stay on the path it's on right now, frankly, civilization as you know it is going to have a whole lot of complications, not the least of which is massive power outages, a complete, back when the Library of Alexandria was sacked, okay, the books were moved elsewhere. The geniuses that are playing havoc with the electronic libraries are doing something far worse. They are destroying the data. They're completely wiping it out. Okay, they're doing it because I don't like the government. I don't like this corporation. So I'm going to wipe them out. Okay. Now, think about this. We've got the hydroelectric problem. We have a problem with oil. Not shortages. Sorry, guys. Not shortages. Okay. I know I'm not government. So understand, I'm not government. So I'm not going to say, hey, I'm from the government. I'm here to help. What would you do? What would you do, LA, if I told you it's not as lost as what people think it is? LA's just going, I'm still PO'd about Alexandria. It wasn't lost as far as badly as what many people think. But I'm still looking at it going, why is it not being brought to light? Well, the reality is what's been wiped out is, and I'm going to put this real blunt, okay? I'll apologize because subtlety is not my strong suit, in case you hadn't noticed. Where we are heading is a societal collapse if we do not do something to stop it. Now, I strongly suggest, number one, the political system is built, the foundation is built right. But you gotta start looking at putting people into power that are not already dead. Okay, we go back 1,000 years. Every leader was in their 30s to 40s. Okay, now some people will tell me they died at 50. Well, I'm telling you, not from my recollection. Okay, people didn't die. Back in caveman days, yeah, people died earlier. Of course, in all fairness, your food was usually eating you instead of vice versa. The Vatican has a staggering amount of information. They've got most of the Roman records. Okay, see, when the Vatican was sacked, it was sacked by the leaders at the time. It was not sacked by a bunch of random people. Okay, and yeah, I know that goes against everything you've read, pretty much. But we have a choice. We really do. We can go, okay, and I have sent a staggering number of people back to church. Whether it's a church, a temple, a coven, I don't care. Find a brotherhood of people that are of like mind and are intent on helping. Are intent on supporting you. Now, with the number of charities out there, and I don't know the names, okay, the best one I ever came across, 30 cents on the dollar went to the charity they claimed. I know of one absolutely world-renowned, world-advertised, 1% of the money donated goes to the charity. I strongly encourage you, if you're going to donate to a registered charity, contact them, ask what percentage of the money is going to the charity, because what doesn't go to the charity is going to their pockets. Now, you can call this fear-mongering or what have you. In about 30 years, if you don't bother looking into it, you'll find out anyway. Okay, now, I'm looking at this going, I'm doing my level best to do exactly what I came here to do. Remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Granted, there are a number of you out there that are going to go, but I like all my toys, so I want to get to keep them. This is fantastic. Keep all your electronic dinghies. Absolutely do. When the hydro system collapses because it's overtaxed and we don't have a superstructure in place, when that happens, all of your electronics are going to be paperweights. Oh, there we go. Now, this is where people like LA come in really handy. Apparently, charities overall can be Googled for how much they receive and what they do with it. Now, I'm going to warn you about one thing there. Okay. And that is that people are notorious for giving information that sounds really good. I remember one multi-level marketing system that was absolutely dead on honest. They made a comment. I'm not going to tell you which one. I don't work with any of them anymore. But this one in particular went, if you buy these plans, if you buy product, you will get this kind of an exorbitant return on it. It wasn't a lie, but you had to buy a specific set of things that nobody used. Okay, or that were a very limited use. It wasn't a lie, it was just misleading. And remember, omission does not mean deception, because there's not a soul in existence that tells everything they're up to. Number one, you asked me what I'm up to. The rational answer is I'm in the middle of a live stream, seeing how close to the edge I can get, apparently, in getting my hand slapped. Okay, probably with a hammer this time, but what the heck. Now, here's the funny thing. Take a look at what you're doing. Forget the rest of the world for a minute. Because where we are right now, so many people are going, oh, this country is starving, that country is starving. These people, they've got to leave their home, so we'll bring them into this one. Look in your own house. Okay, now, get this. I talk about this list on what to do about things. Okay, the list method. Now, you'll notice, and I'm not bothering with whether you can read it, it's just point form. But you'll notice all this stuff down here has check marks. Okay, I've only got 4 things left. Actually, I don't even have that. I don't want to know where it went. So we grab that one. Take this. And whoop. 1, 2, where are we? I'm down to only 3 things on this list that I haven't completed. Okay. And the reason I do that is because it helps me stay organized. Thing we have to remember is where you are right now. Let me ask you this. Are you content with the way your world is going at this point? Okay. I mean, with the way your personal world is running. Okay, what do we got? LA is going... Yeah. LA is going, GiveWell is an independent resource for who does what with their donations. Oh, okay. The neat part about this is if you're looking to help people, okay, and I do strongly encourage you to do so, even with my limited income and with what I've just finished telling you right at the beginning of the stream, okay, I don't get my finances in order. It's real simple. 90% of my stress is because of lack of money. The big problem was I was never taught I was taught how to handle money. I wasn't told how to hang on to it. Okay, so very late in life, I figured out the wherewithal of all of it. Now I'm in a situation, a very simple one. I either pull it together in 6 months or the odds are I'm a dead man. Which, for me, it's kind of like going, bonus, I'm out of here. Okay. Yes, there are people that do care about me. Absolutely. There are people that would be theoretically, very unhappy about the fact I went. I'm not going to get warning. I don't get this straightened out. It's easy. But on the plus side, I don't have to watch from a in sync standpoint. I don't have to experience yet another civilization buckling. And rest assured, guys, you're working on it. Either by inaction or by action. Take your pick. Many of you go, why bother voting? It's just one piece of garbage instead of the other. Why you bother voting is simple. Okay? So that you can say in your own heart, I chose the best person I could think of. Okay? But understand, and I do vote, I just don't pay a lot of attention to society. Because what I found is, on the whole, people are doing things really, really, really backward. Okay? What we have to realize is you have control of your life. It may not feel like it, but like I told a client of mine one day, she was complaining her whole life was a shambles because of what happened to her. She ended up on the street. I said, look, let's get something straight. Number one, yes, you had a lousy first 40 years of your life. You ended up on the street, but you chose the street over ongoing abuse. You had the choice. You could stay being abused. You guys have the choice. Okay? The people in office right now are absolutely playing havoc with your life. Absolutely they are. You have a choice. Okay, and I'm not going to pick one government and tell you this one's better than that one. Every government template has positive things about it. But I will tell you, the current path you're on is up to you to change, not up to the government, not up to a different nationality, and it's certainly not up to anybody that is not you personally where it comes to any addictions you've got. Okay? I will tell you, you may be having the worst time of your life right now. So I'm going to get drunk and it'll get better. No, it won't. All drinking does, I know this from firsthand, is it knocks out trained and learned inhibitors. Meaning, you drink too much, you eat too much, you do too much in the way of drugs, you're giving up your control. Your coping mechanisms are going out the window. You're afraid of being chipped, like the government. The churches tell you, you get chipped, it's a sign of the beast. The beast doesn't need a computer to track you. Okay, understand. If you believe in Satan, if you believe in a negative entity that you feel is running your life, understand they don't need a phone. They really don't. I have yet to run into a God that actually requires a phone. Okay, or requires medication. They just don't require it. Okay, now, am I a Christian? Do I believe in God? Do I believe in Christ? You bet your bottom dollar I do. Do I believe that governments are necessary? That a one world government is imperative? Absolutely I do, but I do not believe that, number one, anybody in any position around the world, around, on, in, doesn't matter to me. Nobody is better than the next. If we continue separating ourselves and going, this group is better than that, this group has more power, this group has more this, more whatever, you do realize where it comes to groceries, for instance. Okay, we are taught to fear being out of everything. How many of you have a neighbor? Okay, and I do mean literally And that's where I'll stop it. How many of you have a neighbor in your area that is also likely going through the same fears you are? Okay. How many of you are living in an area where the people around you are testing, where you yourself may be? Okay. Now, the only thing money does for you, quite frankly, is enables you to buy more stuff that somebody else said you required. You do realize if you got money and the person next door doesn't, if you do work things the old way, and yes, I mean, we're going to go back before computers were invented. Okay. One person buys, the other person makes. Okay, rest assured, it is way better for me to buy groceries and get somebody else to cook if I'm looking for flavor. Okay, something that flavor tastes better than mud. Right. But we start working with each other, and all of a sudden, this world starts to turn in spite of what you're being told. But it's up to you. Okay, you can absolutely go, we're all going to die. We're going to hell no matter what you do. Because, well, let's face it, you were born in sin. So you're going to get blamed for what people you weren't even alive when they broke law. You're going to get punished. I'm thinking, I'm sitting here, and this is one of the reasons why I turned around and started looking at the world the way I do. Now, LA has posted here that alcohol is a way in, not a way out. Absolutely accurate. But what we've got to do is start realizing you have control of your life. You're the one picking up whatever food you're getting. You may not have a wide array, a wide selection. Okay, but you're the one that is putting the food into your mouth, unless you happen to be on life support in the hospital. And if you are, I do feel for you. Okay, why am I not worried about it? Well, let's face it. I die, I'm coming back anyway. I know this. I've done it often enough to know that my life does not end here. Okay, what I've set in motion this lifetime, I am absolutely already on track. When I come back next lifetime, I'll be coming in. I don't know how they'll have got their money. Don't care. I'm coming into a wealthy family. Okay, how they got the wealth, whether they were a cartel, whether they were a government from some bizarre country or a mainstream, I don't care. Where the money comes from doesn't matter. What I do with it in my possession is what matters. It's the same thing that matters now. Okay, so am I getting as much information as I can on paper now, on disc? And will I be turning it into smaller booklets? Absolutely. I'm no longer giving people, oh, give me a week, I'll have it out. That has never worked, temporally speaking, with me. Okay, every time I put a time frame on it, it gets screwed up. So I'm just not doing it anymore. But we have to look at it. Ask yourself this. Do you really require another couch? Or is the one that you're sitting on, is it working well enough? Okay, and yes, I am documenting this sort of thing whereby people will be able to get the information in their hand. And yeah, I am going to charge for it. Sorry, guys. This is free. Positive Perceptions is free. Will remain so. Positive Perspectives, which is the newsletter becoming a magazine, is going to remain free. Absolutely, Joe. And here's the neat little thing. Everybody, no matter when, like Joe says, everyone has a chance when they die to go to heaven, church or not. And when we talk about everyone, human, animal, ancient race, off-worlder, plant, elemental, okay, this is what we mean by everyone. Even planets when they die. Okay, the Kaboran, which are off-worlders, by the way. they still go to the same place. So yes, people have told you about dying and going into the light and meeting their loved ones and what have you. Absolutely on the money from my experience. Understand, I've been over there a number of times. Okay. So, from my end, I'm actually surprised the computer's actually working right now. That's kind of comical, really. But, now, here's the thing. I did an interview a while ago. I never did see it. They kept telling me, sit still. Can you picture me sitting still? Like, that worked well. And no, this does not have alcohol, just something to destroy my stomach with. Let me ask you this. Okay, now, billions of people go to a church, a temple, a coven, a support group, okay, where somebody tells you, you're doing this wrong. How many of you go to a place where they focus on what you're doing right? Now, I will tell you, in my opinion, because I refuse to point out everything that's going wrong, and I will tell you, if you are looking in the mirror and going, I'm not content with this, so I'm getting off my butt, and I'm making a change. If you're doing that, you're doing something right. Because here's the reality. When you eliminate, when you alter the path of the things you're not content with in your life, what you're left with is a life that you're happy with. I spent today taking my office and clearing out pretty much all of it. Okay, but I did it one step at a time. Okay, I was called today by somebody. They wanted to talk to me about something. I have no idea what it was. You know, in all fairness, they were using an automated system that didn't work. Now get this. Okay, think about this. You desire information from somebody. Which way is more effective? Not further reaching, but more effective for communication. Face-to-face, vocally, or via written text. Which way is more effective? In your eyes. You know, I mean, I've been on a cell phone talking to somebody with, using electronics, be on the phone, and the phone dies. Now, I don't know about you, but I have yet to be, I am lucky. I've never sat down and talked to somebody and had them die while I was talking to them. Okay? Kind of a bonus in my eyes. But, going back again, like I said, 2,000 years ago, 12 people got together and said, hey, the guy's got an idea. We have right now 642 here that are subscribers to this channel. Okay, I'm telling you what you've got your mind set on. If it's positive, you can make it happen. It will take effort. If it's negative, you can make it happen. I don't know why you would go out of your way to make negative things happen, but hey, maybe enjoy it. Who am I to complain? Okay, but if you've got ideas, absolutely. If you've got ideas on what you feel would help make this stream, make Positive Perceptions a more viable, more appealing way of doing things. Oh yeah, see the thing there, Joe goes, I know I still have a chance to get to heaven when I die from my past mistakes. Here's the thing, and this is just going to tick somebody off. Okay, when Yeshua came here 2,000 years ago, he did come in, he died on the cross, if you follow Christianity, okay, and let's just be clear there. Okay, he died on the cross for your sins. The ones you'd already done. He didn't come in to say, hey, you sin again and you're done. I died once, that's okay. You've got a clean slate. you can do what you please. This is the misinterpretation that has been propagated for over 2,000 years. Guys, get it straight. You were given free choice, free will. You weren't given freedom from consequence. Okay, now I have little bits and pieces of money coming in. I could continue on the path I'm on. Okay, that I've been on for way too long. I could continue trying to spend $300 to $400 a month going out. Okay, eating out. So I didn't have to get off my tail feathers and start cooking. I could choose to do that. I could whine that, that the government is making things too pricey for me. I'm telling you, I can go to the grocery store with a little bit of effort. I can spend $4. I can spend $4 on basically 2 pounds of rice. And I can make up food with minimal effort to last me 2 weeks. Not a wide array of different types of food. Okay. Or I can go to the restaurant and spend $20 for one meal. 5 times for one meal for what it would cost me for 2 weeks. My choice, my call, nobody else's. Okay. This, and LA's going, I like that. Where is this? I've been collecting little sayings that work very well. LA's just posted one in the chat room. Once you can see, you can't unsee. In other words, once you know about it, it doesn't go away. Okay, and to be clear, every corporeal entity I've run into has an absolutely eidetic memory. What you don't have is total recall. I'm just going to be adding that to my repertoire of little things to get popped into positive perspectives. So I'm just putting this down to make sure I don't forget. Now, here's the neat thing. Where we go from here is entirely up to you. Okay, the reality of it is this. I am no longer willing to sit back in my life and go, I've got no control over it. I spent the morning clearing out a lot of stuff here. I've got scheduled to finish taking inventory. Okay, on the books I've already got in print. That's very much the case, LA. LA goes, I think it just means once you're exposed to the truth, nothing can change it. And that's just it. Truth doesn't lie. Okay, once you know it's there, you can argue the point all you want. You can deny it all you'd like. Problem is, you don't have to believe in gravity. Okay, and maybe it never affected you before and suddenly it does. Well, all of a sudden, you're going to have to deal with the reality that gravity is painful. Gravity itself doesn't hurt, but the side effects are a right royal pain. Okay, and by the way, LA, that particular saying that I just copied down, I do have one little question directly for you, since I know your whole name. All I'd like to know is whether to just put it credited to LA Moon or credited to what your full name is. Much like I did in one with a saying I pulled off of Joe. Off of Joe Stewart. I'm looking at a lot of things here, and I'm no longer permitting myself the luxury of going, I didn't know better. Originally, I did not. Okay. The reality is I was not actually given the guidance that I should have, that would have helped. But here I am 60 years later, finally figured it out. So if I can manage to do this, I am starting to push the limit on what I believe. As a matter of fact, let me see if I did this right. Way up here. No, way up. I literally have turned around, and in positive perspectives, I have started a little section that is literally titled My Beliefs. These are the things that guide what I'm looking at. Just something to consider. Much like, now, will I open a church? I was told I should. Not going to happen. In all fairness, the mainstream churches have really seemed to make that not work. Okay, so am I Christian? Certainly. Am I going to try and start up another Christian church or something else? Not a prayer. But it is time, in my opinion, that we do start looking at the reality of what we are permitting to happen. Okay, I mean, let's face it. You can spend thousands on a computer. If you take care of them and they do what you desire, buying a brand new set of bells isn't going to matter a whole lot. Okay, this thing is a calculator that has run pretty much daily for 40 years. Okay, now at the time, and I'd have to go back and check, or somebody else would, to find out what I actually paid for it. But let's say it cost $20. And $20 at that point would have been a lot. But if we take 20 and divide it by 40, well, that means it's 50 cents a year. How many computers can you buy now that for 50 cents a year, power included, will do what they're supposed to? Where are we here? Oh, yeah, LA, in all fairness, there's no doubt it has been. I don't even go to try and figure out where it was originally said. Okay. How you doing, Rachel? Great. I'm glad you could join us. The way I look at it, there was a song put out one day that said, not everything has already been said. It's already been thought. Okay. Somewhere along the line it came up. Some of what has come to my mind, okay, is stuff that I know absolutely. I don't recall hearing it anywhere, so I'm the one bringing it forward. Doesn't mean it wasn't said in the past. What does have to happen here is we have to start looking, and no, scratch that. We have to start seeing the world as it is being portrayed and start making changes in our little pocket. Okay, now you look back through my old videos and you'll recall that this bed behind me used to be covered in paperwork. It's all been disposed of, sorted around, filed where it belongs, whatever. It's gone. Okay, it has been put where it belongs. And it continues to happen. What I'm telling you is it's time to take responsibility for your life and start going, okay, I desire people to be honest with me. Here's the reality. Okay, I desire you to be honest with me. Here's the blatant reality. If inside the next 6 months I do not have things turned around where I'm generating a total household income of $2,500 a month. Okay, if I don't get that done, the odds are shortly thereafter this stream will close because, hey, I'll be dead. It just won't matter. Not from my end, anyway. From your end, it might be a pain in the neck. Okay, the blunt reality of it is I made some pretty stupid moves, pretty stupid mistakes, and where I am at this point is $20,000 in debt with no income. Okay, am I going to pull it together? Yeah, one way or another I will. Okay, and you're sitting there going, well, if you're that far in debt, how are you possibly going to get out of it? Well, the neat part is I'm owed over $100,000. Okay, so am I ever likely to be a millionaire? Probably not. Am I ever likely to worry about it? Certainly not. Okay, from my standpoint, I can live on $2,500 a month. And I mean live high on the hog, have all my utilities, my rent, all my food paid for in the house, feeling better with a lack of clutter. Okay, I can do that on $2,500. I bring in, let's say that I generate $3,000. Okay, that means I'll have 500 surplus. I've already laid it out where 400 of that surplus will go back to the community, to people that require assistance, even the ones they may not realize it. Operation Shutdown, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You know, the funny thing is I had to learn things the hard way. And I was talking to a chap, he was living on the street by choice with a bank account of $960 some odd thousand. No, correction, he was about 60,000 short. So 940 some thousand dollars in his account. And as he put it, a dollar is a dollar is a dollar. Okay. Dollars don't make you better and easier to get into heaven. And they certainly don't keep you out of hell. Okay. It is up to us. Now, who here wants to live in a world that is paradise on earth? Or would you rather hell on earth? Because I'm telling you, you like hell on earth, we're well on the way. But that's just my personal take on it. Now, I loved it. I think it was Jimmy Swaggart. I think. It was certainly one of the evangelicals. I got a kick out of it. Not what he did. Okay. He turned around and he goes, I was watching TV, and this is decades back. And he's standing on his pulpit, leaning into the TV, he goes, God has said if I don't have $8 million by the end of the week, he's going to call me home. Number one, God doesn't care how much money you have. I didn't mind that he did that. Okay. And I've told people, I've never turned down free money. But what got me was in less than a week, the people that were listening to him went, oh, well, we don't want you to get called home. So here's a whole pile of money. Way more than $8 million. Okay. Now, I will tell you, the reality of it is, it doesn't matter if you're a millionaire, a billionaire, a trillionaire. You do remember that funny guy with a lot of money? I think his name was Steve Jobs. Built a massive organization, had a lot of money. He died. Okay. That's the one thing we all have, no matter where we come from. We all die. Some of us, like me, get a lot more runs at it. By the way, that doesn't make it any funner. But it does mean if we continue literally throwing garbage into the dump without prepping for it, without utilizing what we can, we keep creating garbage. Yeah. No, E.T. phoned home all right. You know, he really did. But E.T. was, in my opinion, E.T. was a stylized reticulum. Okay, creatively organized reticulum. But hey, who am I to complain? But as for you being confused, LA, you probably are. But, you know, what the heck? The thing we have to look at, where are we going? Okay, we can continue blaming the government, the so-called elites. You can blame the different cultures, blame the immigrants, blame anybody you please. You can continue doing that. This is one choice. If you continue doing that, and don't take my word for it, okay, can't give you a time frame, wouldn't even if I could. If you continue blaming everybody else for your choices, I will tell you, this world is going to go right through the sinker. Okay, now, you don't have to believe me. Okay, they didn't believe that, and there were many people on the Titanic that did not believe it was going to sink. You know, there's a lot of dead non-believers. Because oddly enough, when the Titanic sank, whether they believed it was going to or not, they still drowned as a side effect. Whether you believe that you've got control over your life, if you put your mind to it, okay, if you don't know how, if you suffer from what I call true ignorance, absolutely drop me a line or stay tuned in with Positive Perceptions and Positive Perspectives. I do talk about the things I personally am in the process of working on and keeping you posted on how that's working. You can either follow what I'm doing, as in emulate it, or you can turn around and do it your way. Like so many people talk to me. I've got a couple of people that call me up and go, I'm having this problem. How should I handle it? I'll go, do this and this. I don't want to do that. I want to do it this way. Okay, do it that way. Then they call me back a couple of weeks later and go, my life is still a shambles. Why? You know, how am I supposed to straighten it out? Why are you talking to me? I told you got to do this and this to get your life in order. Okay, now, I've done a lot of stupid things, and to my way of thinking, and you can call it wrong if you'd like, but in my opinion, you certainly cannot get away with calling it wrong. Okay, I turned to a lot of companies that said, oh, give me money, we can make you more visible. Newsflash, yesterday, okay, number one, none of them got me even so much as an inquiry, never mind getting me a sale. Okay, so I cut all of my contracts. I just went, you're not getting any more money. Right, wrong, or indifferent, I want a roof over my head. I'm keeping it. My choice. Keep giving them money and pray they do something, or take it into my own hands. I chose to take it into my own hands, in spite of the complications I've got. Okay, I checked the internet yesterday. Type up in Google, type up R. Keith Andrews. Just search for it. You'll find me. I searched this morning. 9 out of the first 10 had me. I'm guessing I figured out how to get to the visibility side. Okay. Now, I never desired the spotlight. We have a choice. Okay. I could choose to say, you're all going away, and YouTube might do that to me anyway. Okay. I could say, strap it, I'm pulling the plug, and vanish off the map. I really could. Okay. And I won't say I haven't been tempted. Matter of fact, I'll tell you flat out I have been. Okay. But the reality of it is this. Okay, I could choose that, or I could go, okay, 9 out of 10 listings under R. Keith Andrews are on the front page of Google. Don't believe me? Definitely don't believe me. Check it out yourself. Okay, I'm going to be using the social media, Google, that sort of thing, without going into a whole lot more debt. As a matter of fact, I won't be going into any more debt. I will work with what I've got. Number one, top method of advertising globally, all throughout history, has always been word of mouth. Now, we have an absolute choice. Okay, let me see something here. This is, I'm curious. Oh, that was wrong. That was definitely wrong. 2024 minus 1728 is 296 minus 288. 8 and 2 is 10, and really? You gotta be kidding me. This is where doing things the old-fashioned way. I'm doing this because of a numerological configuration I figured out. 2024 minus 1728. Well, 2024 minus 1728 equals 296 minus 288 equals 8. There's 2 there and 1 there. Okay, 2024 with the numerological configuration I work with. This is an 11 year. This is a year of understanding. This is the year to straighten your head out. Okay. Now, that will change depending on what your personal year is. But the overall global year in this calendar is an 11, meaning understanding. This is why all this information is coming to light now. Next year, as in 3 months from now, we got a wonderful setup going on where we actually have the opportunity to put things into use. This is why I say in 6 months, I either get this sorted out or I'm done. Okay. Now, I can't say that for certain. I'm certainly not suicidal. You know, the reality of it is we have to make a choice as individuals. Never mind as partners, as parents, as society, as individuals. Are you content with the way your life is? Okay. Are you content with the way things are unfolding for you? If not, then it's time to make changes. Now, don't take my word for it, but let me ask you this. Do you actually feel that if you don't get off your tail feathers, your life is going to change for the better? Do you really think somebody's going to come down and go, oh, you made some pretty dumb moves, let's straighten that out for you? Or for that matter, if you had the capacity, would you walk in and hand somebody the cure to their problem? Okay. Or would you teach them how to deal with it? Now, here's the thing. Okay, there's an old saying. Yep. There is an old saying that literally goes, where are we here? Again, these are being put in my repertoire anyway. The saying is, give a man a fish and feed him for a day. Okay, so if you give a man a fish, man, woman, child, doesn't matter, fill in the blank. You feed him for a day. Okay, now, with that, the other side of that is you teach a man to fish, you feed him for life. So, this is where we are standing right now. We have to, well, no, I shouldn't keep saying we have to. We really don't have to. I can absolutely go curl up in a corner, shut the entire world out. I've already pulled the plug on leaving my house for the most part. Okay, I could do that here. I could pull the plug here. And yes, I've already got the message, so let's not jump on that, shall we? I'm not going to. I said I could. Simon, you're absolutely correct. That's the silly part. Simon goes, show that man how to sell those fish, and he'll rule the world. Absolutely. The key is to realize, find out what you require to live. Okay. Do not, money sitting in the bank, I hate to tell you this, doesn't actually do you a lot of good. Does a staggering amount of good for the bank. And here's why. Okay. You put the money in the bank, and I will tell you, I actually deal with a bank that until I talked to the manager, didn't have a functional savings account. After I laid it out for him, they opened one. Okay, where I can put money in the bank, it will sit there. Okay, without being used, without it going anywhere, making a little bit of interest, without costing me a nickel. Now, you can bet the bank is going to take your money from your account. They're going to invest it. And, they'll tell you, we invested, we give you 8%. What they don't tell you, and that's just a number out of left field. Okay. Thank you, LA. I appreciate that. The bank will tell you, we're going to give you 8%. It's, 0.5% higher than the next company over. So we're being really generous. What they don't tell you is they're making 20 to 22% on your money. Okay. Now, this is very magnanimous of them. I'm telling you, the tools I talk about, the ones that I put forth to you, like, for instance, this little deal here. Okay. This list of tasks that I've got, where I tell you, write them down, check them off, keep the list running. If you're not doing it, okay, if you're not utilizing this tool, then frankly, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good. I do not have the only tools out there. I just happen to have the only tools that I use that I'm putting. Okay. What do we got? Now, when I get done this stream, I'm going to go into, sometime in the next little bit. I keep postponing because it's not that important to me, frankly. Okay. We've got 7 in the chat room. It's been fluctuating around the 10 mark. But I'm pretty certain that we are getting probably 20 or 30 that are watching afterwards. Maybe more. I don't know. What I do know is we have a choice as individuals. Are we going to continue going down the path that we're looking at? Everybody says, oh, we're heading for a Great Depression. We're heading for a collapse. We're heading for a major overthrow. Great. Are you going to go over the falls, just willy-nilly go, oh, I know we're going over the falls. There's a wall right there. I know I'm going to hit it. I'm going to stay the course. I'm going to make dang certain I tuck my head down and ram into that wall. Your call. You going to do that? That's the choice you're facing. You know what you're doing. You know whether what you're doing is making you content. Okay, you know that what you're doing may be being just a case of I'm distracting myself so I don't have to deal with it. I was going out to the restaurant to avoid dealing with me. Didn't work worth a hoot, by the way. What have I got going on here? So the biggest thing we're looking at is, where do we go from here? Let me ask you this. Where do you desire to go? And I would love to have input from you guys, either in the comment section under the video, Okay. Or drop me a line to my email. Okay. To innervoiceenterprises@yahoo.ca. Okay. Get a hold of me through Buy Me a Coffee at buymeacoffee.com/innervoicej. Drop me a line. Let me know what you would like to see happen. Because I am currently laying out a battle plan to literally change the world, at least in my own area. My own area, by the way, means your world, wherever you are. I know we have people all the way from Australia to England and back to Canada and all over the States. I don't know where everybody is. Okay, heck, right this moment, I don't know where both my kids are. And I'm still having trouble, and I have no idea if I'm facing north, south, east, or west right now. I'm facing the window. Okay, but it finally dawned on me it's time to get off my tail feathers and make things happen. Now, I can argue the point. I can say, I don't want to be in the spotlight. I really have no interest in the spotlight. I do have an interest in seeing this world get back on track. I'm tired of coming here and watching the world and watching people blow the world back into a dark ages. You know, like they did with Library of Alexandria. Hey, here's a good idea. Let's delete. Let's burn all of this stuff. Let's destroy the artifacts. We got geniuses in today's world. Okay, that go, hey, there's a great artifact that was built. Okay, let's destroy that. That way you can't say it didn't happen, right? Okay, this is just the reality of it. You have a choice to make right here, right now. Okay, that choice is, are you going to leave your world in the disarray it's in? You really have one of three choices. Leave it in the disarray it's in. Work with each other to make this a better world for virtually everybody. Or are you going to choose to be guided by fear and destroy what's left of the world? Your call. Okay, absolutely your call. I am very tempted to sit back and watch, but I'm not giving in to that temptation. Instead, I am going to do what I can to get people to wake up and smell the coffee. And hopefully you'll pass the message on. If not, when I die, and I will die. One of these days we'll get around to it permanently. But if I don't get the information out, when I die, the information goes with me. Okay? And bearing in mind the length of time my memories run for, that might be an exorbitant amount of info. But again, do not take my word for it. Okay? I'm not talking about whether or not the world's going to end. We have time to turn it around. But not if we stay sitting on our backside. So where we go from here is this. You either get your tail off the chair, start altering the things in your life that you're not content with, shifting them to something you are content with. Like, I could sit back and pray that the stuff behind me gets organized. I absolutely could. Okay. I don't see the point to doing that anymore. Which is why, when did I get up this morning? Oh, I was up until 4 o'clock this morning. Okay. When I got up I got to bed at 4. Got up at 5:30. Okay. So I slept for an hour and a half. Got back up and went back to bed at 8 and got up at 9. Okay. Other than that, I've been on the go, taking the way my world is and going, not happy with it anymore. Not going to sit around waiting anymore. Your call. You can follow my lead, which I do strongly recommend, or you can choose to stay there and look in the mirror and go, but I can't do anything about my life. The government's absolutely shafting me. You can do that. You're more than welcome. Okay. Problem is, I can't do a thing about it, so I'm just choosing not to worry too much about it. Okay. I will tell you, where it comes to the things that I've mentioned I'm having trouble with, absolutely I'll accept help. Absolutely I will. But I will tell you, the big thing, like this whole fiasco I've been going through, does have a beneficial side effect. Okay. It forced me into a corner. And yeah, just like you, I'm not comfortable making the change. So I'm not going to. I'll hope it gets better. I'll wait for this to happen. No more. Okay. Now I look at it going, I'm making it happen. Any bonus, I'll deal with when it gets here. Until then, I'm done sitting on my backside. Well, aside from on the chair here. Of course, I could be like Mork from Mork and stick my face in the chair. But I always looked at that going, if you remember Mork and Mindy, Robin Williams played Mork, and one of the things that he used to do. Joanne, how you doing? Glad you could join us. He used to walk over to the chair and put his hand in the back of the chair. And he'd sit there, face down in the chair, and I always looked at it going, look, some actors have a problem with gas. Of all the things to get somebody to do on a comedy show, just think about that for a moment. And yes, I know people told me, doctor, and one day she goes, oh, you're type 2 diabetic. You got to watch your sugar intake. Then she put me on medication. I dang near went blind. So, yeah, this is great cleaner, by the way. Cleans out the pipes the whole 9 yards. Am I going to start worrying about whether or not I'm going to die? Why bother? I'm going to die. I may have a rough time frame on it at this point, but I'm not going to sit back, put my feet up, and wait for the curtain to come down. I'm seriously considering stealing the curtain so it can't come down, or just folding it up. But here's the kicker. Okay, right now, I think in the bank right now, I'm just about completely tapped. And I got to figure out how to get enough sales and enough income to cover my rent for the end of the month. Okay. In order to actually stay with a roof over my head. Now, am I going to end up on the street? In my eyes, not a prayer. Okay. I'm just telling you, look, I am not coming to you from the point of being a millionaire. I don't have the money in my hand. Okay. To turn around and sort out the world's problems. I will tell you, there are some absolutely stupid maneuvers being handled around. Now, I remember, and I'll get into this on a different day because we're just about out of time. No, I'll do it now. I ran a character in Dungeons and Dragons. Now, the guy was a consummate thief. Okay. And we are talking about a fantasy game. Okay. And what he did was, long story short, he tried to help a friend of his, one of the group, tried to help them. The guy goes, I can take care of myself. So I dropped him off at the prison with the guards that had arrested him. And I said, there you go. Went over to the jailer and went, how much is it going to cost to get him to pay his fine and get him out of jail? The jailer looks at me and goes, it's going to be, $500. So I went to a player character that was in my party. I went to him and I went, it's going to cost you 50,000 gold to get out of jail. So he goes, 50,000? That's insane. Why so much? I says, don't ask me. That's what it's going to cost you. Take it or leave it. I don't care. You can take care of yourself, but that if you want my help, that's what it's going to cost you. So the guy gives me 50,000 gold. I walked over to the jailer in front of the guy that was just released and went, here's the 500 gold that it cost again to pay his debt. Here's another 500 gold. Take your entire precinct out for a party. Have a happy. Okay, do what you will with it. The guy turns around and goes, hey, you said it was going to cost me 50,000 gold to get out. I says, you're out, aren't you? Well, yeah. I says, well, then it cost you 50,000 to get out. I didn't say it was going to cost me 50,000 to pay a fine. Okay, now, I'm going to tell you, you have the same option, not to steal from people, but to decide, are you going to change your life? Because if enough of you get off your tail feathers and start adjusting the things that are not making you content, okay, start altering the things that are not making you happy, and turn around and start making yourself happy by eliminating the negatives, I will tell you, all you're going to be left with is peace and paradise on earth. In your area, you'll have what you're looking for. Well, in all fairness, LA, the long and the short of it was, and I should tell you that story in detail, but that character was the best, and it's a bad way to look at it, but it was D&D. Understanding I won't steal from people. Okay, but that character was designed that way. But here's the thing. You have the ability to change your life for what you consider the better. Okay, I cannot make you do that. All I can do is continue to put the information out, which I've taken a slightly different tack with Positive Perspectives. And I have decided that I will be running a section on it. Where is it? Not there. Down here. That is literally titled My Beliefs. Okay, I will be covering what I believe or the philosophies I act on. Now, you can choose to follow those or you can choose to do it your way. I will tell you, I tried the route of alcoholism and drug addiction. Didn't work worth a hoot in my favor. Okay, I experienced the trick twice of going bankrupt. Didn't work as well as I was told. Okay, I've done a lot of really stupid things. Hopefully you guys, if you're not my age, if you are my age, hopefully you haven't done as many stupid things. But certainly if you're not my age, like I said, I'm 61. But finally got the message. Now, if I can survive the next 6 months, if I can pull the money together, and I'm aiming at doing that through book sales and consulting. Okay, as well as actively altering my own life path. Okay, I'm no longer interested in making excuses for myself. It's just not worth it. And by the way, for those of you thinking, oh, I'll do it in a little while, or I'll do it next cycle, great idea. Procrastination has never gotten anything done in a hurry. Didn't even get bankruptcy done in a hurry. Just keep procrastinating. It still takes time to drown. I'm just not interested in drowning anymore. Now, this said, if you've got ideas for primary ongoing columns in Positive Perspectives or even in Positive Perceptions, absolutely drop me a line. Okay, absolutely do so. The reality of it is, the reason I don't pay for it, for the ideas, is because I don't make any money at all directly off Positive Perceptions. or off positive perspectives either. Okay, but I have to start generating an income. We have a problem as a society. We gotta quit looking at each other and go, oh my gosh, you're a different color. That makes you a bad person and we matter more than you do. Or, golly, you got more money than I got. And well, that means you're more valuable than I am. Not a one of you is more valuable than the next. Now, I will tell you this, and some of you are going to take offense to this. There are a very, very small handful of people that I actually trust. Okay, very tiny handful. Okay, now that said, this does not mean I distrust any of the rest. It just means it's not a black and white thing. Okay, I just speak the way I feel. I am not, in case you hadn't noticed, an eloquent speaker. Okay, I don't bother to sugarcoat because I can't remember what I lied about. Okay, that's the primary reason why I look at it going, why lie? If I lie, I have to remember what I said. If I just tell you the truth and don't tell you everything I'm doing, like for instance, if I were to be asked, what am I doing right now? Well, I'm talking to you, but here's the kicker. What I didn't tell you is I'm digesting the food in my system. I'm circulating blood and oxygen through my body. I'm breathing on a regular basis. Okay. I'm not telling you that because, frankly, TMI, nobody in existence tells everything they're up to. Okay, this is why I say honesty is not a question of telling everything. It's a question of making certain whatever you do say, whatever you do write down is honest. Okay, because the reality is you desire people to be honest with you. It's absolutely critical you're honest with them. Okay, now I will tell you, when the one thing that people have managed to get very right from personal experience is when you die, you will, in all likelihood, get to meet some of your relatives, some of your friends, some of your old pets. I'm looking at it going, when I die, I get to meet an old friend of mine by the name of Gordon. Gordon was a plant. Okay, as in he was literally a plant. Oh, bonus. And we just got the 5-minute mark here. So what am I looking at here? Okay, we are at the 5-minute. Well, on the good side there, Joanne, I was told I don't have ADHD, but we will cover that on another day. I'm no medical doctor by any means, but tomorrow we are going to be covering Beyond the Void. What happens when you die? None of you are getting out of here without dying. I hate to tell you this. Okay. But since we're under the 5-minute mark, I do desire to say thank you so very much for sharing your time with us today. Really appreciate it. Glad to have had you by. I will be back again tomorrow, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. PST. And we're going to cover Beyond the Void. What happens when you die? What is out there that I can quantify myself? And we'll cover questions a whole 9 yards. Okay. Until then, do take care of yourselves and each other.